Welcome to this morning show, this episode of POV Live, where now people, the media, the pro Harry media, we've seen them. Now they are saying, well, why didn't William mention Harry more? Why didn't William talk about Meghan and Harry more? Who cares? Why should he? I don't even understand this bullshit. Whoop, too early for that. I don't even understand this line of thinking. We'll go with that. When you're talking about someone like William doing his own interview, this was supposed to be about him. Why on earth would he bring up his idiot brother? I don't get it. I don't know. And when you think about it, there is a reason that they say that, because those people are pro-Harry journalists. That's why. We've seen it day in and day out. They will just be ready for whatever Harry and Meghan say, obviously in the WhatsApp group. Obviously. You really see that there's the connections between these two idiots and these Royal Rota reporters. That's their name, the Royal Rota. And I think when you're trying to talk about non-biased reporting, like, yeah, okay, we're in Megxit. We're supposed to be biased against the two idiots, right? But when you're talking about billionaire companies, the Daily Mail, the Sun, or sometimes the Sun's on his side, but it's mostly the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail, Us Weekly, People Magazine, Page Six, the New York Post, like these big, giant names. And they all go for Harry. You really see, especially the Daily Mail, most of all. The Daily Mail, most of all. And then I think that Chris Ship guy, his is ITV, I believe. So ITV as well. We know ITV and the Telegraph, they're both up his ass. I mean, ITV's got documentary after documentary after documentary about this man. So you can really understand why, when something like this, an interview for William, where he's supposed to talk about himself, right? He's supposed to tell about what's going on in his life and what's going on in from his point of view, POV. You can really see that they would want him to be asked about Harry. Why? Why the hell should William have to be asked about Harry? And even then, they were kind of getting on this other guy's ass, Eugene Levy, I believe his name is. They were getting on his ass. Well, why didn't you ask him? Why didn't you talk about Harry? And then I even saw a clip from like some mainstream media, one of those shows that they do on daytime TV. And it was Chris Ship, and he was telling the two people, he's like, well, I wonder why he didn't ask more. I wonder why. Because nobody wants to. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to know. This is William's interview. Nobody gives a shit about what the two idiots are doing. That's why. And when you see it, where is it all coming from? It's all coming from Harry and Meghan PR. That's it. That's all it is, literally. See, and look at the headline. From where? Right? From where? People Magazine. Of course. Of course. Eugene Levy reveals if he was allowed to ask Prince William about the two idiots. Why? Why is this even a question? Why is this even something you ask this guy? Why couldn't you actually pay attention, People Magazine? Why couldn't you pay attention to what Eugene Levy was saying? That's what I want to know. Why are these people always like this? Because they're pro Harry and Meghan. Even though the media hates Harry and Meghan. Oh, why? Why? Oh, can't believe that. Roni with the massive super sticker for $9.99. Thank you so much, Roni. Thank you so much for being here on this live on this Friday morning. Today, we're going to have two lives, actually. We're going to have this live for about half an hour. And then in the afternoon, we're probably going to do a nice little happy hour. We'll see about that. That'll be fun. But yes, as this says, why? Someone tell me. I would love it. Why should anyone give a shit about Harry and Meghan when this is an interview about William. Eugene Levy is explaining why he steered clear of asking William about the two idiots. During their sit down, the Canadian actor joins Apple TV. Look, there it is right there. ITV News. I told you. ITV News. Que no? Ching. Speaking to ITV News October 2nd, Levy said he was told to avoid the topic of Harry and Meghan. But okay, you're going to try and paint this as, don't ask William about his idiot brother. Okay. But I still, for me, in my opinion, this is still a question. Why would this even be a topic? Isn't there so much going on in William's life that, hey, man, let's hear about him. Let's hear what he's thinking about. How is he thinking about the future? How is William seeing his potential for becoming king? How, all of this. But no, right? And that's not even us. It's not like on YouTube, they blame us, YouTubers. Oh, you guys just bring Meghan into everything. Well, what the about this? What about that right there? Bringing Meghan into everything. You want to talk about this? Bringing her. There's no business for William to even talk about her. And then the way they're trying to frame it. Look at this crap. Oh, hold on. William did mention Harry when reminiscing through childhood to throw them a bone. Yeah, right? Something. Ugh. He did say that, and I think we're going to see that in these other stories that we're reading on this live. But I think it was something that he doesn't want that to happen to his kids. And I want to know what he's talking about, because Harry has said that as well. Harry said about the royal past repeating itself, and now William has said the same thing. We're going to see if it says here in this report here. But I'm really interested to hear what William means when he says that. Were you ever told you couldn't ask questions? For example, Harry and Meghan, did you find that it was just something you didn't want to go near? No, it's something that you don't need to go near because they're useless individuals. Both of them. Idiots. Were you ever told you couldn't? Okay, Levy replied, I was not told. There it is. Why didn't they put that on the headline? Levy was not told that I couldn't ask anything. There you go. There's your friggin' headline, you stupid hoes. But it really wasn't, up to me to get into that. I had no interest in asking him about that. Exactly, because there is no interest. There is none. It's stupid. Talking about them would bring the classless element. This is going to be a great interview. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely no class. None whatsoever. A very delicate issue. Okay, I had no interest in talking about that because it was, a very delicate issue and certainly not up to me to get into it. It's not even a time or place. I don't even know, I don't even know if it's proper for William to talk about that at all. I don't think that matters for him. Because really, let's look at it, right? Let's look at it. Whatever William says is going to be misconstrued. Doesn't matter if it's by the Sussex Squad. It doesn't matter if it's by the media. If he says anything that isn't just up Harry's ass and really loving of Harry, then they're going to go off on him for it. So I don't think on the part of William, I don't think that he has any business at all doing any kind, and I mean it, any kind of talking about Harry. I don't see any point to that, and I don't see how it would be beneficial for William. I just don't. I think there are other things, I could lead the conversation to might be interesting for him. Of course, his entire life. How about that? And interesting for the world to hear, but that was something I really wasn't necessarily interested into getting into. But if you notice the way they framed it, look at the way they framed this. Oh, Eugene Levy reveals if he was allowed to ask. What do you mean allowed? What do you think that, these people, Harry and Meghan, are so powerful? No. Don't ask William. Don't. No, dude. Even during some type of public engagement, we have heard about that in the past, where they have said that William, in his personal space there at the palace, whether it's Kensington or Buckingham, whatever, but in his personal space, he doesn't want people talking about that. I've heard that. And of course, I have a brother. He passed away, but I have a brother. I know what that would feel like. And if someone was to talk to me about my brother, I don't care. Sorry. I love my brother, and he hears me all the time when I tell him I love him, but I don't care. That's how it was when he was alive. When you have a brother like that, when you have a sibling like that, that they've just been negative on you and done negative things, but they still get love from the entire family. Like I've had that before, and it's just like I don't care. And that's how William is. William, I don't care. So if anyone is ever around William and they say, "Oh, you know what happened with Harry?" I don't care. I don't care what happened with Harry. Screw him. That's what happens when you're a grown man. A rift between royal brothers, 2020, yada, yada, yada. The Prince of Wales let his guard down with Levy. Reluctant travelers to live in William offered comments on that's not her name, as usual. And King Charles during the difficult year. Another CNN royal correspondent, Max Foster. The tone was set in a way, wasn't it, by Prince William turning up on a scooter? What? You go into this tour, but it takes this turn. I'm not sure if you expected it to go there. He talks about being overwhelmed by the family stress, and then you go deep. You talk about the princess cancer diagnosis, how last year was the worst year of his life. Do you think he's changed coming out of that? No, no. I'm so sure Max Foster from CNN, of course. I'm so sure that William went through one of the most traumatic years of his life where his father got cancer and his wife got cancer and nothing, and he didn't change at all. Oh, these people. Oh my God. Sometimes you think the questions are that easy because they want answers. I know, right? Talking about them would bring this is Prince William interview. It means Prince William will talk about what Prince William wants to talk about. Obviously, he doesn't want to talk about that. It must not be named ever. Yeah. I just don't see the point, and that's why we're making this video. There are other things we're going to talk about right now on this episode. We're now labeling these lives. We're labeling POV Live episode 122 until we move over to the new channel. That's going to be happening very soon. We're going to have an all-new channel where we're going to be having the lives there, and then all of the breaking news is going to be coming out here. So this is going to be a big, like, we're really, really looking at the future. Eugene is not a journalist. He didn't go controversial to ask those type of questions. I feel like it was not the time or place. That's what it is. I don't know that unless someone is trying, right? Unless they're trying to get a story, they're trying to get a comment, they're trying to get William to say something, there's no reason to even ask about Harry. He's a useless topic. And with Harry, he's just not like that. You ask Harry about something and he'll tell you. Like, that's why the media loves him. That's why all these journalists, they love Harry, because he just leaks and he gives them information and he makes their job easier, and William doesn't do that anymore. And really, whose fault is this? FYI to all the journalists out there, it's your own fault when you piled up on Catherine. Sorry, it's the truth. When all of those journalists in the Royal Rota and in the mainstream media, when they all piled on Catherine for that Mother's Day thing, William said, okay, I'm done with you people. And they all deserved it. Whoa, what's the problem? I bet you they pretend like that never happened, huh? He replied, it changes what kind of importance he seemed to truly indicate, Foster, but quite profoundly, safe to say, changed by the agenda on my agenda. When you were talking about the future of the monarchy, what do you think he meant by that? Okay. Speaking toward what will happen when he becomes king and what tone of monarchy he will be like, and it might be something he likes, something we haven't seen, the world hasn't seen. Interesting. Now, my issue with William and the whole becoming king thing is that we don't know when that's actually going to be. So the conversation is fun to have. Oh, what's William going to do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do? We don't know when that is. That could be in 2030. That could be in 5 years. Really, these kind of talking topics, these kind of topics, you have to wonder, why are they always talked about? Is it to cover Charles? Okay, rare comment. See, and then they make a whole thing as from one comment. See, right? That's what we said. If William says anything about Harry, there's entire stories just like this. Exactly. It's ridiculous. So I want to see what he actually said, because all he just said was, oh, here it is. It's an interesting question. It's a big one, that one, because there's lots of things to think about. But obviously, I want to create a world in which my son is proud of what we do, and a world and a job that actually does impact people's lives for the better. Well, that's not Harry. William actually acknowledged brother Harry in the most unexpected way. Okay, this is caveated with, I hope we don't go back to some of the practices in the past that Harry and I had to grow up in. This is what I'm talking about. When William says that, what is he talking about? Because Harry said the same thing. What are they talking about? Maybe we got some royalists in the chat that can let us know, because I don't know what they're talking about. Practices in the past that Harry and I had to grow up in? Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if I think we can do that. Okay. Prince William said this, quote, let's see if, okay. And okay, we're not gonna bring in the idiot. We're just gonna ask about William. What do you think these practices are from the past that he's talking about? Intense media intrusion? You don't got to worry about that because Harry's the one leaking. You don't have to worry about intrusion. Damage caused by relentless press scrutiny. Okay. I would love to ask William, do you know your brother is the leaker? That's what I would love to ask him. Diana on his family's night. Recent interview, he referenced how growing up the media were so insatiable, they'd be everywhere. If you let that creep in, the damage it can do to your family life, I vowed that would never happen to my family. So, but okay. I mean, I get it, right? We get it. Harry has said the same thing about the media. The problem is when you're talking about leaks. Because if this is coming from William, that could be serious. He's serious about that. He's not joking. He's not just saying that. But when you're talking about Harry, I mean, there's never been a rumor that William leaks. There's never been any kind of shit like that. Never. So to even worry about it, right? I've never heard of any kind of rumor that William leaks. I read one of these stories from one of these Meghan PRs, like hardcore websites, that it's just a blog and they don't even have any kind of actual writing skill. It's just literally words on a screen and there's little ads everywhere. So if you click, then you get screwed with ads. But that's how Meghan's websites are. The ones that push her, they're all just little blogs, not even Substack. Like, I have Substack. She doesn't even have that. They just have these little blogs that are nothing and they have no writing skill. It's so weird. And that's how you know it's probably AI. So, okay, I'll give William that. I feel that William is, what do you call it? Sincere. That's the word for it. I feel William is sincere. We'll go with that. Excessive formality, emotional restraint, stiff upper lip. I don't know. William seems restrained anyway. He seems like he has it all together. I don't know about that one. Prioritizing tradition over adaptation, resistance to change. Oh, Meghan, she's going to be the change for the monarchy. Blech. He says he intends to change, not radical but necessary, and questions whether traditions still fit in for purpose today. I've said this before. This does sound like it. I think William is woke. And I don't mean in a bad way, because he's a rich person and rich people can actually help with things like that, like homelessness. And William has, like, the homelessness thing where he literally built the houses. That, I think William is woke. I think a lot of people don't talk about that because it's got a negative connotation. But I think William can do good with the wokeness that he has, rather than doing this because that's how they've always been done. But what are you talking about? Okay. See, these are all very general, right? So perhaps practices in the past, protocols, hierarchical distance, or lack of flexibility in roles. Well, that's what Harry wanted. Harry wanted the half in, half out crap. Even when the circumstances have changed, poor boundaries between public duty and private life. Lives were often subsumed by royal expectation and press interest. That can blur lines between fields on and sanctuary. William appears to want boundaries. Well, he has boundaries now. We've seen it with the press. So that's good for him. Unaddressed mental health or emotional, the past royal culture. Okay. See, this is all the same shit that Harry has cried about, but Harry cries about it for himself. William cries about it for that's the way it was. Especially the media intrusion. You know, if William was to be a leaker, then okay, fine, we could maybe talk about it. But he's not. William isn't a leaker. William's never been a leaker. That's not how that works. Public face is all I can think of. And Meghan's interviews are all softball and scripted. They've literally said she has to know the questions before. They have said that. All right, next one. The two idiots conspiring with the government to be back in the UK. Yeah, sure. Okay. Is this from that, what do you call it? From that Richard Eden report, I think. The two idiots once again found themselves. Royal Storm claims shadowy forces. Harry, shadowy forces, Harry. To sabotage Harry's fragile steps, reconciliation, yada, yada, yada. Just days after speculation and establishment plot, Sussex comeback, sources of feeding false stories to derail his hopes. Harry, that's you. You're feeding the media. As we talked about earlier, you're the leaker, Harry. You're feeding the media. We all know that, Harry. According to the paper, the client was left feeling more of an official visitor. Such claims echo familiar. Visit to Ukraine. Okay, so nothing we don't know. Next one. King Charles, Queen Camilla, divorce looms. I'm not even going to give you the time of day. Meghan's ego has now become queen-sized. We're going to end it off on this one. Now, I'm going to have to say, this is tough to believe. Very. I'm so sorry. If you have all of these failures that Meghan has had, all of them, and she continues to fail. We've already found out with As Ever, it hasn't sold out. She still has it on for sale, on sale, same thing. She still has it. She's literally giving away product. So the only thing I can think of is that this is something like delusion. Or, damn, I don't know. I don't believe that. I got to tell you, if you have no prospects because Meghan has none, and I would look at her right in the face and I would tell her, dude, you're done. You're cooked. You have no more prospects. Okay, we got this crap Christmas show that's supposedly going to come out. It's just ass. We know you're just going to copy Catherine. I don't know how. I mean, you got to be talking about some serious delusion if she really believes that she's still got something going on. I feel like everything has failed, and I don't know where she goes from here. I don't even think it would be a good idea to do another podcast, unless it was a podcast with someone else. Oh, imagine Michelle Obama. Ugh. I don't think. I don't. I really don't. I don't know. Because normally, whenever, sweaty ass. Because normally when we be talking about this kind of thing, you're talking about, oh, well, Meghan has something coming up next, or Meghan's going to do something next. Dude, she's got nothing. So if you're trying to get me to believe that her ego is now queen-sized, I mean, it's got to be fun-sized, like a little fun-sized candy. That's how big her ego has to be, because she's taken so many hits this year. The podcast failed, the Netflix show failed, the brand failed. Literally, all of her big three that she was going to build an empire on, remember that? All of that has failed. I mean, that's what she gets. And really, you can see it because this silence, that's what it is. This silence that she's had, you can really see that's either she's trying to figure out what's the next move, or we know that this award's coming next week. They bought another award for that Project Healthy Minds crap, so they're going to bank on that to look good for, I don't know, 2 weeks. I mean, her podcast is shot, Netflix show shot, As Ever brand is shot. Unless she's going to keep on getting awards, every month or two, I don't see anything good coming of it. Oh, well, that's just what happens. She's got all the connections in the world and no talent. Oh, well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you so much for being here on this live. We will catch you next time.